But she noted it that I'm always telling her,
Do not
don't
shout.
shout. Don't shout at your brother. But I'm still the one shouting.
Shouting. Hello and welcome again to another episode of Mommy and I with me, Dami. How are you doing today? So far, I hope that you have been enjoying all of our videos and contents that we've put out for you. And do not forget to click on the subscribe button below, like and share. And of course, we want you to drop a comment on what you have learned so far, and of course, in this video as well. Okay, so today, our topic for today is interesting, and it's not something that's particularly for parents and educators. It's not something that we are taking note of. We usually feel everyone should be able to know these things. Everyone should be able to identify these things. And what is this thing I'm talking about? Your emotion. So our topic today is building emotional intelligence for children. How do you go about it as parents? Even you as a parent, you are yet to even build. Now you're asking me to help a child build. Don't worry, we've got you covered. And of course, I will not be doing this alone. I've got here with me my co-host, Shala.
Hi. Well, hello everyone. My name is Ifeoluwa Aduradola, and it's an absolute bliss to be back here. And I hope that everybody's doing fine and you've been catching up on our old videos. Today's conversation is going to be quite an interesting one because I'm going to be shooting shots at parents, at you, and not your children.
Catch yourself.
So it's more for you. It's more for you. So yeah.
Okay, so like I said earlier, we're talking on building emotional intelligence. I mean, this is you helping your child to be able to understand, identify, and manage. So I should teach my child how to understand that. Okay, I'm feeling sad. I know that I am feeling sad. What should I do with this? How should I do with this feeling? How do I handle this feeling? And why I said earlier that even for parents, adults, we don't even know these things. And then how is it okay for me that I do not know these things to teach a child?
Yeah.
And that's why we have this video for you. So we're going to help, as much as we are saying this to help a child, we are also as an adult, you pick one or two.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's get talking.
Okay.
Building emotional intelligence. What do you want to say?
So firstly, I think we need to understand what emotional intelligence is. And it's just in the simplest form, the ability to control, manage your emotions, study it, master your emotions, and then apply it to your everyday life. And even though this topic is supposed to be for children, I believe that you cannot give what you don't have.
Definitely.
So if you want to raise emotionally intelligent children, it has to start with you as a person. How emotionally intelligent are you? In fact, are you even emotionally intelligent? That's another thing. Because our children's first contact to anything about life at all is from us. So once they are delivered to us at the hospital and we take them home, everything they sink in, every experience, the way you talk, the way you eat, the way you should do, literally everything
getting it from
is coming from the home. So if the adults around them are not emotionally intelligent, the likelihood of you raising an emotionally intelligent child is actually quite slim. So the work has to start from. That's why I said I was going to be shooting a lot at parents. Because we expect that these children should know everything. They cannot. Definitely. Because you have not put anything inside of them.
You haven't put them through.
You have not put them through. So if you are the type who gets upset easily, I was telling somebody recently that one of the reasons why when I set a goal, I ensure that I achieve that goal.
It's because someone is watching.
Because I have two children, a boy and a girl and a boy in that order.
In that order.
And a lot of times when I say I want to do these things, I say it out in the open. The moment I have said it, they have heard it.
And they want to see
and they want to watch. Exactly. They're watching my everyday life to see I'm going to achieve that thing. There's one that my daughter is still holding me to. I said that before March, I will learn how to ride a bicycle. I had my first lesson and gave up. And my daughter keeps reminding me
that you said
that I said I wanted to learn to ride a bicycle before March. And it's important to her because she wants us to ride as a family. She rides with her dad, but I'm never in the picture.
Oh, now she wants everyone.
So she wants everyone. Now, what this thing is going to do to her, if I actually don't accomplish that, is when it is time for her to make decisions or set goals,
it's okay.
It's okay for her to give up.
Not do some. Yeah.
Yes, she'll feel it's okay because
my mom did.
Yeah, I've watched my mom go through so many things that she wanted to do and never ended up doing. So we want to raise an emotionally intelligent child. It starts with you. It starts with you, and there are many other. Yes. Of course, many other things. It starts with you. Then the environment that the child is living into is very important. The other adults around your child.
How do they also
behave? What kind of lifestyle are you portraying to this child? You know, my children, for instance, now, I noticed that my daughter started shouting a lot. And I know where that shouting came from because I know it's not from the house. But sometimes when I'm not available, I take them somewhere, and that is where they pick that shouting from. So my husband and I have decided now that we'll start to cut off gradually until we cut off completely. But then we'll be doing the reset at home too, that when you're upset about something, instead of shouting, there are ways to communicate it. So the other adults around, and also I'm informing the adults in that place too that I'm noticing this thing in this child. I know it is not from my house, so it is from here. So you also have to work on it. Unless you don't want me to bring these children here anymore. You know, so the environment too, where you're raising them,
very important.
It's very important. Even if it is school, even if it is church, school, address it in church,
family's house.
Yeah, address it because you know what you are trying to achieve. You know the kind of child that you are trying to raise. Exactly. So it all boils down to the parents. The work is in the hands of the parents. There's something. The title of my book and my podcast to come is Parenting is an Action Word. And I just want us to keep sounding it and letting parents know that this job of parenting is not necessarily to see your child, mark some things in the milestones or to have a perfect child that fits into boxes. You as a person, you need to first change and then do the hard work of raising and live by example. Do the hard work of raising that child. So
I was going to talk more on what you said. I remembered whenever my son is angry, he tends to just mumble everything. And then one day I said, I'm not responding. I'm not answering you. I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand. When you're ready to tell me what you want to say, you will say.
I did the same thing to my daughter even last night.
So, over time, I remembered when he went to school and then the teacher said, he came, tapped her and said, Ma, this, and she was wondering, like, she was looking at her. Usually a child would, for something that happened, should be crying. Or he just stood up, came, tapped her and said, and he was like, where did that come from? I said, whenever he's angry, I realized that he's always, you will practically not hear anything. So I will tell him, I'm not responding to you. If you are hungry, you have to tell me that you are hungry. Yes. Don't assume that I should know. I want you to speak. I want you to tell me these things that you're feeling. Are you sad? So even of recent, he said, I am tired. And then the man turned and said, like, what have you done? But I said, he is tired. If he says he is tired, he is tired. I've taught him.
You say this thing about tiredness. Sorry to cut you. A lot of parents don't believe that children get tired. And that's why you find a lot of cranky, grumpy children. The child's active time is probably from that time you drop them in school till, in fact, that's why preschools, from 12 o'clock, they don't do anything.
Yes, they'll tell you.
Because you cannot get the best out of those children. They need, you have put them in a structured space for too long. So from that 12 o'clock, just forget about it. Just let them be. So they take their nap times, their cycle times, and all of that in that period because their brains have shut down from anything
activity
at that point. So they just want to play or rest or relax or
nothing
something.
like
Nothing
bombarding them with
exactly. But a lot of parents don't know. So that's why sometimes I frown at after school programs. Unless your child really needs that intervention, let that child go home to play.
I was going on Monday, I helped a woman with her daughter, and then she was like, "Why am I not taking in for an extra lesson, as we call it here?" And I said, "For why?" She now said, "That does it not need it?" I said, "Why? What does it need it for?
Why does my
grades
are
fine?
Hello,
They are not. Even if
you just said his grades are fine. Who told you that your son is 3?
He's 4.
He's 4. Should be graded at the age of 4.
Well, Nigerian system.
Exactly.
Nigerian system.
We have no business grading 4-year-olds.
Yeah, I remember. Yes, it's true, because I remember
we have no business
when I went to school and I said, Nigeria, where education is important. I remembered when I went to school and I was expecting to see 70. You know the way they would give you over 100, and I didn't see anything. I just saw good,
yes,
excellent, this and that, and I kept looking at the result. And they usually do online. There's no paper that you even want to hold to. So I had to screenshot the result. And then I sent to the school and I'm like, I don't understand this. Where is the score?
Where is the score? How do you want to determine that?
And then you're like, no, for preschool, they don't use that. What they do is, as long as it's good, if he needs help, and it's true. Where he was assisted, they will put it there.
Yes.
With little assistance.
Yes.
With this assistant, they put it there. So I was like, oh, okay, that's, the Nigerian system here, we're looking at, did you get 100?
95 over 100.
And then I was looking for average. I didn't see any average.
It's not even necessary. In some countries, your child doesn't even have, he has no business in that school. So, we parents just have to upgrade. Yeah, I think so. And I'm really hoping, I'm waiting for that time that the Nigerian education system
really need to
upgrade as well.
I'm glad that some schools now are really, doing these things to teach us. When she said that, I now went back. I had to go look for, preschool, early childhood, and all these things. I started seeing that, oh, really? Of the truth, what are they grading?
What are you grading? They're still learning.
What is he writing that they want to grade and all? So back to what we're saying, that when I saw when I was like, oh, the extra lesson and all, I said, no, he doesn't need it. Because first off, he just came back. And I'm home. If I'm not home, that's quite different. But I'm home. Why would I take him somewhere else that he just finished school? And then I'm taking him back to another place where he's going to continue. Again. When is he going to rest? When is he going to have play time? And play is key.
Is extra key.
Play is key. We just think that these things they're just waste of time, but they are very important. I left puzzle in the house. I didn't even ask him anything. And then yesterday he just started assembling the Noah's Ark himself. I even stood at a point. Even his dad was like, "Can you do it on your own?" He said nobody should assist him. That we must help him. Some people might have felt, pack everything now.
Yeah, I know. So, I think I must have mentioned in one of our videos before. I know someone that, gosh, I was always just upset whenever I visited her because they are not allowed to play. You can't put toys on the floor. You can't do this. I'm like,
please, children.
Please, just allow them just 1 hour. Then you can ask them to pack up. That restriction really gets to me. I don't know how else to explain it.
I don't know how to. Yeah, and it's so funny that children are used to whatever you teach them, like you said earlier.
That even from that play, they learn a lot about emotional intelligence.
Yes, they do. Yeah, that's why I was even going.
Yeah, they learn a lot. So from like age 2, you notice that your child is very territorial.
Sharing.
I don't want you don't touch my stuff. That is where you come in. You're not going to force him, because the moment you start to beat him and say, no, why don't you want to share? You must share, No,
you have missed it.
You have missed it. He doesn't want to share. It's okay. Gradually, step by step, just one step at a time, explain why he needs to share with other people. When these other children come around also, if the child is fixed on one particular toy, bring out other options and still explain why they need to share and play together consistently. And before you know what's happening, that child will grow out of, because it's just a phase.
Yes, it is.
It's a short phase.
It's very short, like you said. And if care is not taken, it's something that they would. I remember this particular sharing now. Whenever at the point he wasn't even. I remember that previous when he asked me that he wasn't even bothered. But of recent when he did that, and I'm like, I remember he asked me one time that does he like to share, and then I looked at him. His dad took something, I think from his food, or I think plantain or so.
And then you cannot touch Yanni's plantain.
He just started. No, and I'm like, is it more than? And so I went to him. I said, why even? What did he say? He did not ask me.
Yes. Oh, yes.
He did not ask me.
They do that to me.
So I said, going forward, my dear, please, whenever you want some, don't assume. Don't say, please ask him.
Yes, and it's important that, so now, when we see a child, we just assume that child should know his manners. When you go somewhere and they give you something, you say thank you. Abi? Before you take something, you ask. For you, parents,
we are teaching.
As you are, I'm talking to you. When you are about to take that plantain, do you ask? No. Honestly, and my children had to make me realize that as well. Yanni too, my son, he will just, no, mommy, you did not ask.
I didn't see that coming.
I'm sorry. Can I have some? On the days that it's being nice, he will say yes. On the days he wants to show me that no, he will say no, you can't have it. And that's it. And I let him go. Because if I insist that I want to get it, I'm bullying him.
Respecting that. Okay,
so,
you don't want to give
But there are some times where I still have to ensure that I let him know you should share. Sharing is good. But let me first mess up by not asking. So I have to rectify my own first before I go there. And that is how they build this emotional intelligence.
Because when he said that day, I'm like, wait, I didn't see this coming. Like, I never even thought, in all honesty, I was even thinking maybe he would say, he touched my food, this, and then say, Daddy didn't ask.
Children they're intelligent. They're very intelligent. And they learn, they absorb so much from around us that I don't even think we understand the capacity that these children have. We don't. We don't.
It's very
at all.
important that we know. And it's such a shame that as much as we're trying to tell these children, when you're angry, you shouldn't shout. Then
we shout.
When mommy is angry, mommy goes, let everybody.
True story. I said it that my daughter and I had an episode last night. So she was really upset about something. Like really, really upset. And I shouted at her. In fact, I actually yelled at her, and I didn't feel good about
After
it.
that.
I yelled at her, and she just looked at me like, Kilaju, what did I throw? What did you return to me? Why are you shouting like that? So she left. By the time my dad got back from work yesterday, she had slept. Both of them had slept. So this morning, I just overheard them
having a conversation.
And what she said was, Mommy is always saying that I'm shouting at Yanni, but yesterday she shouted at me so much. I don't understand. And what did I say? What did I do? I didn't say anything. No. I told her to come apologize to me. She apologized. And, I was like, okay, I'm sorry too for shouting. You get. But she noted it that I'm always telling her, don't shout. Don't shout at your brother. But I'm still the one shouting. Is it going to be easy for us?
No.
Honestly, because they will step on our toes.
They
will frustrate us. A lot of times, the frustration is based on our own external experiences, the things that are happening to us. Yesterday was really hot. Electricity was going off and on. I had Instagram live by 9. My fuel was like below half tank. So I had to do the Instagram live in the car with the AC on and lights of the car. So I had all of that to think about. Their dad wasn't back. I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't want to use gas to warm this man's food. I have to, everything in my head at the same time. And then you now came
and then the child
with your own tantrums. So the way I shouted at her, like, it's like, you don't understand.
I'm going through something.
Read the room. I'm not in the mood for your pettiness right now. But I could have handled it better.
And that's the place of teaching them how to build emotional intelligence.
Exactly. I could have handled it better. One thing I always tell my daughter, which I should even tell myself, whenever she's upset with her brother and she's shouting or she's behaving kind of way, I ask her, your teachers in school or in church, or elderly people around you, when they do something to you, how do you react? Do you shout back? She says no. Then I now tell her, I said, it means that you have the power to control how you react to things. So when your brother has done something to upset you,
Imagine
the power is inside you
to control,
to either ignore him,
or
correct him, or react the way you are reacting. Guess what? That thing is for us, so it's not for them.
It's actually for yes, it's for us
because you
even
your boss's children will do things to you, and you will just
but your own children
will do that. I would say you shouldn't discipline them. No. But if you can control, it just shows that everybody has the power to control their emotions. Simple.
And it's that power that people have not been taught. That's why we have adults who they are angry and they're yelling at everyone at work. They're transpiring aggression, and you're wondering, what's going on? You are the one angry. Why am I?
Even for men who abuse their wives. Yeah. The first question I like to ask, your boss in the office, if she had done this, would you have reacted this way? But because you feel like I'm superior,
you have the power,
I have the power,
man.
I'm the man. The same power you have to control yourself at work
is what
you can use the same power to control yourself at home. And the same thing for us, our children.
I remember the time where a couple came to our house and the wife was talking about how the man would eat this and that, and then my dad was like, okay, that he knows what to do. So he invited the parents of the wife and said the same thing that you said that made the man beat you. Yeah. Repeat it here. And then she repeated it and said some more. And this man was just seated. He was just there. And then my dad was asking, why didn't you? That means you chose to react that way because you feel, I'm superior, I have the power, I can deal with this person. Why didn't you raise that same hand to beat?
Now that you have people in front of you, you can't do it. It's the same thing with we adults.
Yeah. And if we don't teach our children that they would feel okay that when they are angry at school, at church, or anywhere, then that's why you see some children are angry and they are throwing people's books away. They are, flinging other things here and there because they have seen how their parents also react. When daddy is angry, mommy is saying everybody should not go. Nobody should go and meet daddy. Everybody should stay in the house. And then they feel like, that's the right way. Or daddy is sad and everybody is just moody. Nobody can laugh. Nobody can play. Yeah. And then someone is laughing beside you as a child. You've grown up.
And you're just wondering.
And you're wondering, what's making you laugh?
Why laughing?
I don't understand. Am I your problem? So it is very important that as much as we are teaching our children to build, even we ourselves, we build.
The entire work lies with us.
It's very important. And usually I'm always telling my husband, if we say, don't say this to him.
We shouldn't. Yeah.
If we say, don't shout. My son will say, but you said don't shout. I said, sorry, I won't shout again.
Even up to the things we expose them to, media.
True.
Even up to media. There's a particular animation that I really love. In fact, at some point, I used to recommend it to parents. Your daughter should watch it, your son should watch this. But when I realized that she threw a lot of tantrums, she gets angry a lot. Too easily, and then she's always picking on her brother. That's when I knew that, this cartoon
it's not ideal.
It's not ideal. So we cut it off completely. But in terms of the diction and the other things they get to learn, trust me, it's a fantastic show. That one thing was what I saw, and I said no. No. Because the way our minds work, I was listening to Daddy Gio on TV just a few minutes ago before he came in, and he said that our minds, we human beings remember bad things more than you remember the good things.
That's why
that's why
did not do anything.
Exactly. So that's why sometimes you just sit down and go, God, I don't have money to eat today. I don't have this. God woke you up.
I mean,
you went out yesterday, came back. So the other good things you don't remember, the bad things.
The ones that it's a pressing need.
Exactly. So the same way with information, bad news. In fact, in PR they say that bad news is good news.
Yes, bad news is
in fact, some celebrities deliberately put out some bad news just to get
it sells.
The same thing with what our children watch and listen to. The bad ones will stay. They don't even know that it is bad. But well, it's not a spiritual show. I would have said that, the physical is controlled by the spiritual. Somehow, the bad ones just have a way of sticking.
it has a way of saying and overshadowing the good ones.
Exactly. And because they're at a stage where they don't even know how to manage their emotions. They can't differentiate which is which. So they're just running on. How do they say it? When they say that motto love free, they're just on their own.
Whatever it is that
as it comes, they're just absorbing like a sponge. They're just absorbing whatever comes. They can't tell whether this is oil or this is water. Which one should I absorb? It's not, and it is our own responsibility to
now help them understand these things. But how do you even teach them when you don't even know it? Now let's talk about understanding these emotions. Some people just feel it's when you're talking about emotional intelligence, it's about when you know how to handle yourself when you're angry. But there's more.
Yes.
Even when you're happy, there are ways that you should manage it. So you don't out of happiness.
Yes. So yes.
Yes,
you're very correct. I was telling somebody something the other day, sometime last week. So the person is trying to plan a program, and then she mentioned, okay, let us do this particular activity, and I said, I have a problem with that activity, not because it is bad, but I'm trying to consider the demography. Not everybody in that setting can afford to do this thing. So the wise thing to do is either take the activity away or find a way that we can simplify that everybody
will be able to
enjoy it, so that you are not doing an activity that some people will feel, I don't have the money, there's class, God bless you. So that's a way of showing, emotional intelligence. You're organizing a program, it's going to benefit everybody, yes, but you still have to look at it because all the fingers are not equal.
Yes, definitely.
So you still have to look at it. Okay, these ones, they're like this. Why don't you let us remove this from it? And so for this emotional intelligence thing for children, the first thing that I think that every child should know, that every parent should be able to teach the child, is identifying who they are first. Who are you? What kind of person are you? Thank God, we're in the era of affirmations now.
Right.
When we were growing up, nobody told us to be saying anything. And that's another topic for another day. But I think it helps our emotions as well. It helps us to control our emotions, because if I keep remembering that I am a child of God, I am smart, I am calm, I am kind. I remember that, and I keep saying I am kind. Somebody cannot come and annoy me. I am kind. But the kind gone. I'm so kind. If not for my kindness, I would have done something else, but I am kind. So that's awareness of who they are. It's very important.
Very key.
It's very, very key. Letting them understand who they are, what they stand for, who they represent. As a family, we were growing up and they would say, remember the son of who you are. I've never said that to my children. Son of who are you? I'm sorry, what exactly am I supposed to remember here? And I've never used that line on my children. Not because, I think it's because we just...
I think that we find out that there are better things to say.
Exactly.
There are better things to say. Like when my son is doing things and he's not able to do them, and he comes to me and says, I need your help, please help me. And then midway, it's like, don't worry, help me again, you can't be going. And then out of nowhere, I would hear him say, I can do all things through Jesus.
Exactly. So, and I'm because like, that's my boy. You kept on telling me.
Because that's something that now we're doing alphabets and words. So S is self-control, self-confidence.
Nice.
So that's what he has been shouting now. When I say S, he says self-control, self-confidence. When I say A, he says awesome, this and that. So that one, yes, anyways. So
you have tried now from A to S.
It wasn't easy. I tried to get his attention away from the usual A, apple, apple. I wanted it to learn something that was more about say something positive to yourself.
So,
good. So
which is fantastic.
A this and A that. So I even told this teacher, and I realized that the next day, we were very quick. I saw letter S, and then she also wrote self-control. And I'm like, good. So it helps. So even when he's angry, he knows that self-control. He was asking me, what does self-control mean? I tried to explain. But usually when, thank God for the internet, when I say that, like my explanation, he's just looking at me like,
What are you saying?
What? Excuse me, ma. What are you
You
explaining?
can use stories,
I straight up,
analogies.
I just go to the internet, I look for a story that is cartoon wise, children, I just look for something on self-control that will teach him something. And then I say, okay, today I'm not telling you story this night, no bedtime story. Is this self-control we're going to watch. So when you watch it, allow it sink. I'm not going to ask question the first day. Allow him watch maybe first day, second day, and then I'm asking him, what did you learn? What did you do?
So, yeah, what is self-control now? What do you think
Yes,
self-control is now?
and then he begins to tell me all the story, practically tells me the whole story of the.
Yes, from beginning to the end, yes. But which is good. It means that he's paying attention. It means that he's paying attention.
So aside, anger, being happy, being sad, are there other, emotions that we need to take note of?
Yes. Yeah. I don't think that should even be the question. Or maybe I should answer it the way it's coming to
That's right,
as it is coming. Apart from anger, apart from what's it called? Happiness. I think understanding the triggers for those emotions too is important.
True.
For instance, when my children are tired,
Yes.
they are
I
grumpy.
think it's generally everybody.
Everybody.
I mean, when I'm tired, please don't come to me.
They are grumpy, they are cranky, they are upset, they cry unnecessarily.
Some people are
because they cannot just tell you how they feel. And they've had a long day at school, So sometimes when my daughter is, doing her thing, or our brother, I just say, go and lie down. Go and lie down. You need to just relax. Don't do anything. Just relax, And sometimes when they go to just not do anything, they come back refreshed.
Yes, I remember.
But it's not that the refreshment too is at my own detriment because they're going to be up till
usually 100 now. They go from like 30
straight to 100. But then they have the energy to burn all this thing. So they have enough
running
time.
here, doing that. But it's also key that parents all pay attention to these things. Because I remembered during the Holy Ghost service, last Holy Ghost service, I was trying to tell my son that, do your homework. And then he starts and then he's like, I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. And the Yoruba woman in me wanted to tell him that, will you go back there? And I remember the colleague was like, he's even saying he's tired. That in his own days, if they say go and do your work,
you go and do it. Yeah.
What do you want to say that you're tired? Like you want to open your mouth.
But these children, they have feelings, they have emotions.
Yes,
so
that's what I said. I said they have feelings. So I told him, okay, stand up, come and lie down. He laid down and he slept. When he woke up, I didn't even remind him. He just said, "That's my homework."
Yeah, that's another thing that I was going to mention. So that one of the ways to teach these children this emotional intelligence is to help them to understand the consequences of every action and reaction. So you don't want to do your homework. It's not, hello, you are the one going to this school.
You're the one they will talk to.
You are the one they will talk to. You are the one that will stand up. It's not me. My own is drop you in the school and be going. So you understand the consequences of this thing. So if you are shouting or you are upset a lot, you're angry. If I tell my daughter that if you're angry a lot, because she's very strong-willed and opinionated, so sometimes she may come off as a little arrogant and tough. Yeah, that's it. So I try to explain to her that I love this. It's a major strength, but so my husband and we've decided that we'll find a way to help her to manage it and not kill it. But what I also always tell her is that if you are coming off too strongly on people, people will leave you. Yes, they will withdraw, and you will not have friends. Me, I'm not in the school of thoughts of you can do this on your own. You cannot do
nobody
it.
Can do anything on their own.
Please, you deserve friends. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, I wish I had maybe like 5 female friends that will say, okay, we're doing girls trip. I cannot count 5 because where do I want to find them? Because when I was growing up, I wasn't actually raised to cherish friendships like that. That's another conversation.
Many of us were.
That's another. So we did a lot of nasty things in secondary school to each other. We hurt each other. In university, we hurt each other with our words. So we didn't. Friendship wasn't a big deal. Now that we are married,
now we need it. Now we need it.
Now you need it.
I'm like,
everybody's busy. Who do I want to
go
call?
out. Who do I call?
Who do I call?
I want to do this.
So I keep telling her, if you don't work on this thing, nobody will want to be your friend.
Yes, because it might be a turn off for some people.
Exactly. So consequences, they need to know consequences. So it's not just don't do this. Don't do this because
there has to be a reason.
There has to be a reason. So for a child that gets angry easily, that throws tantrums, can destroy things.
Yeah.
You can destroy things. Sometimes when they destroy it, that's not the time to beat. That's the time to say, look at it. Can you fix it back? No.
Let them when you are done, you're fine, right? Look at what you have done. Are you okay with
the consequence of your action? So you should be able to control how you react to things. So that's too is very important. I think even for us adults, unfortunately, adults, we got to experience it and deal with it and learn on our own and learn the hard way. And you know they say experience is a good teacher.
Good teacher.
I think it's a bad teacher.
Example is best.
Because experience would definitely leave a scar on you.
I mean, you don't want to experience the aftermath of you reacting to something bad, and then that's when you're not learning emotional intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
You're angry, you said something bad, nasty to
somebody with your words.
And then probably cut you off, and now you need the testing. You don't want to experience that.
Always leaves a mark on you. That mark will continue to remind you
of that thing.
Even if you try to move past it.
The moment you see it,
it reminds you.
It's a reminder.
So a lot of times we don't even need to experience these bad things. We don't need to have these bad experiences.
We don't have to wait until
it happens. So with other people say, see, isn't this our generation? I love what we are doing with content creation and how vulnerable we are. These conversations, our mothers didn't have it.
No, they didn't have it, and neither did they have people that were ready to
tell them, to talk to them, to open up on issues like this. So I tell people, I say, our generation, we don't have any excuse not to get things right, even spiritually. We don't have any.
We have people who
if it's Dollayemi, they want to listen to the entire week.
We have people that are
if you
already,
want to go back and listen to that DJ from 1980 something,
you have enough.
You have enough.
More than enough.
You have you can literally go on the internet now and type what the Bible says about.
There is nothing.
Emotional intelligence. Our parents will have to carry the Bible, carry concordance, carry this, go and look for materials.
It was strenuous for them to even learn.
So we have everything at our disposal. We must get it right. We must get it right. So parents, understand the consequences. Let your children rather understand the consequences of their actions. You see that emotional intelligence, it will come naturally. When they know that, Kini is bad.
I'm going to give an example to that. I remember, my son was just playing on his own. Being happy. Now, the example of being happy as an emotion now. And then he just started throwing things and he was like, Mommy, see. And I kept saying, if you spoil this toy, there's no other one. I'm not getting another. Out of being happy, being joyous, it broke. It broke.
Been there.
It broke. And then he looked at me and we looked at each other and I said, but I told you, when it breaks,
that is the end.
That's the end. And I remember we went to the supermarket and then he was begging me, he was like, can I please get something? I was telling him the career day is coming. What do you want to be dressed as? I know. And then he begged me, he said, can I get something? And, and I said, the next thing he said was, I won't break this one. And even I might have forgotten. And then I was like, you won't break it. Now it was reminding me, that toy, I broke it. You were angry. I said, oh. I responded to you, right? Oh, Jemmy. So, that's an example, that these children, you should teach them, consequence for everything that they do. If you say you want to eat now and you're not to eat now, because you have eaten now, I won't give you what you're supposed to get when you should get. Yeah, so we should teach them. I think it also helps against shouting, yelling. I know that sometimes it's not easy. There are days you told yourself, I'm not going to yell today. I'm not going to shout.
Today I'm a good mommy. Gentle parenting. In the mud.
Before you know it. And then my son is like, you said you will not shout now. And it's how they always put that into your face. Like,
yes. Look at you. Yeah.
And then I guess I like, but then I tried to. And I really, really, really tried. Now, let's go to the aspect of educators now. We'll talk on the parenting part. now as a teacher, as an educator, there are so many children in your care. There's so many children from different homes, homes where the parents are trying to teach, homes where the parents do not even know what emotional intelligence is.
Dysfunctional homes.
I'm trying to break it down.
It's overwhelming. It gets overwhelming.
So for you now, who is an educator now, I mean, you've worked with several schools. How do you deal with this thing? How are you able to teach them? And it's, it's one thing to even teach these children this thing in school, and then they get back home, it's another information that they're getting.
Yeah. It's number one. Please have the fruit of the spirit. Don't you pali? Ghana must go.
Which one of them?
All of them.
All of them.
Because they will test your own children are testing it.
And then
you come back, you go home, you go to school rather, and you have to deal with 13, 15 other children from various backgrounds, with various experiences. We have toddlers who are experiencing abuse, verbal, physical, sexual, emotional, all kinds. So when they come to school, they don't know how to let it out. They can't even explain what is going on. They don't know what is going on. You, the teacher, or the class assistant or whatever, you have to first have the Spirit of God that can show you. I'm telling you, I don't think you can do this thing without God. Because you will break down yourself. You will break down.
Yelling, sit here, stand there, don't do this.
Is it those that will even just break down in class and start to cry?
Then you
don't know why. But by the time you press and press and press, there was this particular girl. Anytime she comes to class, I was teaching, I taught primary 1, just for a short while. Anytime she comes to class, she's always frowning.
Why are you always frowning?
Always frowning. In fact, the first time I saw her smile, I saw her gap too. I said, till I will leave this class.
You must always smile.
As you are entering, I don't want to see any other thing but your teeth. You must smile. So I kept on, I was
pressing.
Literally on her neck. Like, she gets to the door, she's like, this one again. But I just wanted her to come out of that thing. So one day during their break, I called her, like, sit down. What's wrong with you? I had like a little inclination, but I wasn't so sure of what exactly was going on. There are 5 girls. Yeah. And they are living in the abjectest of abject poverty. Like, poverty of poverty. But thankfully, they're able to come to school. And as at that time, they had not even paid school fees for the previous year. So the school was at the verge of sending them away.
There was nothing to smile about.
There was nothing to smile about. But this is an 8 or 9-year-old girl was dealing with so much. So I just called her, what is going on? Tell me. She didn't know how to say it. So I switched, because that's another thing with children.
Learning the language that you understand.
Exactly. So I said, oh, okay, how is your mom? I know she just had a baby and she's fine. Okay. Where do you people live? Mowe? Okay. So tell me now, what about your dad? Her face just changed. I knew that. Daddy issues. That's number one. And I said, okay, so who takes care of you? That your sister's uniform is always dirty. Who washes it? Her sister goes to another, she has another sister in another school. She said, oh, that sister is one that washes their uniform. I sure she washes it every day. So from asking questions, when they spread it outside, sometimes some people will fight that why did they put their clothes here? Okay, so
they were putting pieces together.
So what kind of house do you live in? Do you also, apparently, all 5 of them plus father and mother sleep in a room, not a room and a parlor, a room.
Wow.
And then, in fact, the first thing that came to my head was, wait, they just had a baby. How did that happen? How did that happen with 5 girls in that same building, in that same house? And then it's face me, I face you. They share the same bathroom with some other people. Wow. And, there are other guys. And then she mentioned one uncle's name. So I just knew that, there's a problem.
I mean, I see reasons why.
So when she comes to class, there's really nothing to smile about. So you imagine that I have to deal with that one. Then another one is coming up with whatever. There's another one that does. When it comes to class, it just wants to sleep.
I think teachers should.
So I had to
put in a roll call for teachers to be awarding them.
So I had to call his elder brother. Your brother sleeps the moment he gets here. So because he does not sleep early at home. Why? They can't go to bed unless their parents go to bed, and their parents don't go to bed until midnight.
Who makes such law?
You've not met them. You've not met some interesting parents.
So no child is allowed to go to bed.
Yes. So that is why a child in primary
educators
one
are trying.
comes to school and is sleeping throughout because it did not have enough sleep.
Damage that lack of sleep. I mean, not getting enough sleep.
They don't. So it's really hard. That's why I keep hammering on the fact that the adults have a lot of work to do.
We do.
So that we'll be able to pour into them and then they become better adults.
And I'm sure if you find out, it's going to be a thing of when either of the parents were growing up, their parents they'll have to wait for their own parents to sleep before they go, and then you have to transfer.
Yes.
They never think of what that did to them.
So the thing is, a lot of parents don't even know that something is wrong with them. There's a parent I met one day. I said, this man has ADHD and he does not know.
Wow.
Some of them don't, they're not sensitive enough to know that there's a problem.
Identifying problems is even key.
Exactly.
You can't give solution if you don't even know the problem.
You get. So teachers, educators, they need to be sensitive, then be emotionally intelligent themselves. And I think that, schools do this. They do trainings for their teachers on how to. So they're not professional counselors, but, a child that you should be able to identify a child that needs help without the child actually saying, I need help. Schools need to do more of that.
Yes.
So when these children come, that's not the time for you to go and tell head of school,
No. That child will not want to speak up again.
Not want to speak up again. So, teachers need to be trained on how to handle all this. So I think all teachers should be counselors.
It should be a major skill.
Yes, all teachers should be counselors so that you'll be able to
have that
because you are the first contact before you direct the child to the school counselor.
You are the one who will be able to identify.
Exactly, you are the first contact that child has. So, and that first contact is very key. The moment the child says that I cannot trust you, I can't trust any other person in this school, and that's the end.
Handling situations, conflicts.
Okay.
Helping children to build emotional intelligence. Not every child knows how to, and even we adults, some of us don't even know how to handle conflict. I remember the situation in my office, and then something happened, and it was more of a case of you should have communicated this thing before you did it, and then it was taken out of proportion.
So the thing is, see, this entire topic has a lot to do with understanding ourselves and how our minds work, and also understanding why other people do the things that they do. That's what I look at now. I'm learning it too, but sometimes when somebody does something, let me give an example. A very interesting example. So on Sunday, the women in church, ladies, we went for evangelism somewhere around Ikeja on that bridge. So myself and my partner, because we're in twos, we approached a man. We spoke to him, prayed with him. He told us a bit of his story and all of that. And, we really felt bad for him. I know that his story checked out. He wasn't faking it. I know that story checked out.
It was real.
It was real. So we didn't even have cash with us. So we saw some of our other members and I said, quickly give me 1K. We gave this man the 1K. We had bread and rice in the car, but the car was parked somewhere else. So we went to get the bread and rice. We didn't give him the rice because we knew that he doesn't have a place to cook. He sleeps under the bridge. Bread would suffice for now. So we went to get it. On our way back, we started looking for this man. We did not find him. So I was like, where is he now? I really love to give this guy this thing. Guess where he was? He went to bet with the 1K.
That you gave him?
Yeah. Now, my partner just goes, we gave him 1K. So my partner just goes, we gave this guy money now. What happened? Why would he go and do this? And immediately I said, no.
That's not react.
That's not the issue. This man is in a cage. He's at the verge of almost taking his own life. The first thing that comes to his head is how to multiply that 1K.
That money. In his head, he was thinking of multiplication.
Well,
we were seeing it as squandering the money.
He's thinking of how do I multiply this to get myself out of this mess?
Situation
So when he saw us, he saw that we had seen him. I could see the shame on his face. Like, how do I explain myself to these people? But no, there was nothing to explain. I understand.
That's because you know.
Yes, exactly.
If it was, if it was two people that they didn't understand, or couldn't put reason why.
I even had to explain. I said, no, don't treat that as, that's not the issue.
Imagine they would have gone to him and say, oh, we just gave you money.
So when you're able to put yourself in the shoes of other people,
it's and easy for you to manage.
See, I'm learning how to make excuses for people, so I will not keep myself.
I do that a lot, and I keep saying, why?
No, unless you come out to tell me this is exactly how it happened, I will.
As long as I do not know,
it's safer
I'm just going
for
to
me.
Be playing different things in my head.
Maybe it's this.
Maybe this.
Exactly.
But until I know,
exactly,
I probably will not take an offense to anything until I know.
Exactly. So we can also teach our children that your colleague in school, your seatmate does something. Think about the different scenarios that could have happened
as to why
this person did this. Don't immediately judge the person and say, you are this, you are that. Why do you? There's always a why to everything. There is always a why. And it will help us to even relate better. Empathy.
As against, it's very key. As against holding someone in and then you are there getting angry. Or say, for instance, now, you are waiting for someone and then you're all angry. You're not here yet. You're not this. What if I'm stuck in traffic? What if I was involved in an accident? God forbid. What if anything? And then,
a friend of mine that had been trying to reach for a very long time, for weeks, I kept on calling, was ignoring. This person know they ignore my call. This is very unusual. Eventually, so in my head, I was like, did I do something? I actually thought I did something. So I started to think, what did I do? What did I say?
What could I have done?
And the thing is, I met this person before I met the wife. So I started thinking, the wife has a problem with me. I said, in my head, I thought, only for me to find out that he had an accident and he was going through a very rough part.
I mean, and imagine that you were not putting different things. You could have been angry. Oh, yes. The wife that convinced him not to talk to me.
I could have just even been angry and then just blocked him off or cut him off when he didn't respond. But the day he eventually responded, it broke it down to me. My heart broke to pieces. You're going through so much like this and you didn't say.
You could have reached out.
So that's what emotional intelligence does. That's like the beauty. That's putting yourself in other people's shoes and trying to understand the why.
Very key.
Why? What could have happened?
Why could this person have done this?
I was listening to Adi Kabasa in one of the interviews somewhere, and he said that when we see people do things like maybe drugs, prostitution,
sometimes
we are quick to label them drug addicts.
This person is
prostitute.
Don't be friends with them.
Call the person and ask.
There's a foundation. There's a root somewhere.
That root is what you will deal with. Ignore the drugs. That root itself.
Because there's some people. Say for
instance
that betting. There's some people that, as much as you bring them out of, there's still something dragging them, calling them. You want to establish someone that is into betting, for example. Always
that person needs to come out of that addiction first.
And then even if you say that, you still leave the person in that environment. You're not helping.
You're not helping.
The person would definitely be tempted. There's no how you want to say that you're testing him by seeing how much he has outgrown, how much Jesus. You have to deal with the addiction, bring the person out of there to, a different environment where they can be fine. So it's very key that, this is even for me, I'm taking notes because I remember I got angry at someone and I think I blocked the person. And then later I was asking myself, why did you block this person?
So I've even gone past blocking people now. I used to block people a lot. Block and mute their status so I won't see. But now, I just let it go.
I didn't know that my husband even saw it. I think he just picked my phone and was like, so he asked me, he said, what of this person? Casually, I just said, this is fine now. Then later in the evening, I said, you think I know that you blocked the person? I'm like, huh?
Look at that.
I'm like, huh? And I said, why? So I explained why and how I felt and all. And he was like, what if? And I thought to myself,
and you know what makes it worse? The fact that you are obsessed with somebody, you block the person, but you actually did not communicate with that person to find out what.
Why?
Me, I want to know why. Just tell me why. I will find closure
When you
knowing
tell me,
the reason for this behavior. So I can now determine if I'll put more effort into this relationship or I should just withdraw and stay in my lane. But I need to know why. Don't just cut me off. So that's why I said I'm just learning that too now, that I'm not blocking anybody again.
We are learning.
If you are annoying me, I tell you, this is what you do, I don't like them. And then we'll move on from there.
I think that's another thing we also need to help children, even as adults. There's some people that you're working with them, you've offended them, they wouldn't tell you, rather they would react. And then you begin to wonder, what did I do? What did I do? And probably you just said something.
So that's why when my children are having their brother and sister moments, as much as I'm trying to control Toke from getting upset all the time, I need her to also express that she's upset.
She's upset.
Exactly.
It's the balance.
And also, when my son is he doesn't...
He's chilled.
He's very chilled. He does not care.
No stress. That's just life is good.
Exactly. And sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I want him to react.
Let us know that you're angry. You don't
so
like
when
this thing.
and Toke have their thing and Toke has to apologize, Yanni will just say it's okay. One day, so I've heard a lot of it's okay. I called him back. Come.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. Is it okay? Is it really okay for you? He said no. Toke, she pushed me. She did this. Then let Toke know that this is what she did to you.
So going forward, she would.
Then
communication is key.
I'm telling you, and it's hard work,
even
for couples.
Because now you can have someone that likes to talk, and then you have another person that likes to bottle things, and everything is fine, and it's fine. But someone like me, I cannot bottle anything.
I don't know how to bottle now.
Once you offend me, it's not even everything in me. You would know. I probably will not greet you. My boss knows that once she comes and she says hi, and once I'm not responding, she says Atija.
Wait to happen.
I don't know how to keep it. I don't know how to. My husband would say, if whatever she says to you, that's how she's telling you. And the good thing is, once she's done saying whatever she wants to say, and you're sorry, that's the end for me. And moving on. Let's move forward. Whether we are moving forward or not, but I'm done with that thing. And it's something that we should also learn to teach our children to express themselves.
Yes.
Are you angry? Why are you angry?
Well, you know that our children will be more confident to express themselves.
When they see us do it.
No. When they express themselves to us and we don't shut them down.
That's another thing.
There's a lot of times that our children want to tell us that this is what... And they, come on, will you keep quiet? Go and sit
What do you understand
all the
by
time.
that?
You're always getting angry. You're always doing
Are you the only one?
Are you the only one? But this child really just wants to tell you how they feel.
But I think we always miss it. We feel like these children talk too much and they don't know what they're saying.
They do.
So, and like,
I know they do now.
Yes, I know that now, but usually I always feel like you're always only you angry, only you sad, only you all the emotions. Abba now, But I think I've come to that stage where children are different. So this person would perceive, just like we are as humans, the way this person will perceive things. There are people that are quick to reading, meanings and picking emotions and picking everything. So those are the kind of people that will tell you often, I feel this, I feel that, as against someone who they don't even know body language, they don't even know anything, they don't know whether your eye is moving or anything, they don't know. So as against those kind of people whom they will just feel once in a while. So you're going to be comparing your child whom is always coming to you to tell you, oh, I feel this, I feel that. You're like, but this person doesn't feel anything.
Even me, I've done it before. I've done it. So it's good that we are being
saying
vulnerable.
These things.
I've done it before. There are many times that my daughter is upset and I'm like, you did the same thing to Yanni and Yanni did not say a word.
So why are you
always picking on him? But now I know that it's better she says it. I'm the one that should work on Yanni now. Because when Yanni grows, I don't want him to be in public places and is being bullied or somebody and is okay with it because I don't care. No, you should care. How you feel is very valid, it's very important. It's just how to express it that we will now have to do more work on. Now, there was a question you asked me about other emotions that, what I just remembered now is motivation. The motivation or the push to do something that you want to do. I gave an example earlier about me saying I wanted to ride a bicycle and all of that. if I don't accomplish that, oh God,
You have to learn that now. I wanted to ask you. Next video, we'll ask you how far.
Don't worry, don't worry. Do you know who I am? I'm going to power bike.
It's okay. Let's start with the number by
So if I don't accomplish that, yeah, I'm going to be teaching my children to give up on things easily. Right?
Very true.
So that motivation of, look, I've set a goal and I must achieve this goal. It has, we must work on it. We must work on it also. Then how they relate with people in public.
Very key.
I'm also not of the school of thought that do you don't care what anybody says. Please care what people say. You're a child of God first. You're representing God. Then you're representing your family.
Of course.
You're representing yourself.
I think I said that. Remember the child of
who you are. Yeah. You're representing yourself. So if you're outside and everybody can tag you as a troublemaker, as there's problem.
That means you don't have any emotional. You don't have intelligence emotion.
Yeah. So we need to let children understand that when you're in public, at home, we can act in certain ways, get away with it, correct a little, and all of that. When you're in public, you behave well. You behave yourself. Respect everyone that comes your way. So whether this person has a different opinion
or not.
My daughter has a Muslim classmate. I want to tell her about Jesus. But
how do I tell her?
How do I, I don't know how, because she doesn't do CRS, she does IRS. So I don't know how to go about it. Then, okay, I was trying to say I was going to answer the question. Then she goes, what will she say about this topic or whatever? And I'm like, in the first place, you need to respect anything that she says. What she knows is what she has been taught. Exactly. Taught. So respect it. Respectfully mention Jesus, but you can't force her to make that decision because this is who she is and this is what she knows. Then leave the rest for God to handle. So, and I really love that she's experiencing, and that's one of the reasons why we took her to a mixed school, not a Christian school, because I want them to be able to experience
these things.
Yes.
So it's not everybody that is of the same belief,
God bless value system,
idea.
Exactly.
We're all from different families and all kinds. Expect any kind.
In whatever situation you find yourself,
you have to be able to deal and manage.
You must be able to manage that relationship
and manage it well.
Whether a person is Muslim or traditional worshipper, Ifa priest, daughter or son,
you must be able to manage and work with them.
And then you will now know the boundaries, where you set the boundaries of things that you can do.
I know at least I can say this to this person.
Exactly.
I can say.
And that's just being respectful. That's just being respectful, honestly. And those are the values that these children need to know to build emotional intelligence. Respect, empathy. I'm so,
very
Lord.
Key.
I am very big on empathy.
But these days, we don't even have. I remembered, consciously, I always tell myself, whenever my son falls, or maybe he hits his head or does something, and my husband goes, but I told you. I said, no. I said, the first thing I usually say is, are you hot?
Are you hot? Yeah.
Are you fine?
Yes.
Are you okay? I have to consciously teach myself that. My husband might say, you are eating. I said, no, babe, no, that's not how we handle this matter. First, we need to check.
Is he okay?
Did you hit your head on something?
After that, they bring the lesson.
Then when I see that, okay, you're fine, then I go, why did you do that?
Exactly.
You shouldn't have done that. Now that you did that, is your head not okay? Is your head not this? It's true. That kind of thing. So empathy is key. And if you don't see you do this thing, I sneezed the other day. I didn't even know that he heard me. He came back and said, bless you, mommy. I said, hey, it's just these little things. We might not see it as what is there. Maybe bless you, he said. But he knows that if anybody sneezes here, he's going to say bless you.
Yeah.
If anything happens, the first thing, are you okay, mom? Are you? And it's so, sometimes I just look at this and I tell myself, you're not kosher. And then I see him sometimes and he's like, are you sad? I say, how do you know that I'm sad?
Oh, our children are amazing.
And he looks at me and says, are you happy? Do you want me to do anything? And I'm like, this has to be
The
something
day my
that
daughter read that a human being needs 60 hugs per day. Hey God,
She was just hugging you on the Hugging
gosh.
spree.
Once I get to school, they just boom. Guys, don't break.
That's enough.
It's okay. So there's work.
There's a lot.
There's a lot to
God
do.
will help us.
There's really a lot to do.
Are there misconceptions as educators now? You
Misconceptions about
emotional intelligence.
I think I don't know if I'll call it misconceptions, but I think there's just confusion, and that's the thing with Satan. Something good will bring a sprinkle, just a sprinkle of confusion there. That's where there's a lot of debate about gentle parenting or not gentle parenting online. That's why there's still debate on discipline and the types of discipline. But the truth is that we need to set some things right with our children. And a lot of times you might want to face the wall or take something from them just as a way of teaching them a lesson. And it's not out of a place of wickedness or punishing. But you just need them to remember that there's a consequence
because you did this.
Yeah, this is what you get. And I'm giving you this so that you don't get to face the bigger consequence.
You have to learn it now.
Learn it now. Exactly. So there's a lot of confusion here and there about whether or not we should beat them. Yeah? Or whether or not we should shout or yell or
to be honest,
so many back and forth there.
I remember I saw in a parenting, intentional parenting and all. I was in the class and then we're talking on parents should not yell. And then I asked myself, is this for real? Can we really?
So the truth is, I don't think it is possible for anybody not to. At some point,
some parents said they have never, and I'm wondering.
Well, it might be.
Please,
It
what's
might
the
work for
miracle
them.
that you have
It might
done?
work for them, but
You can't have a toddler. How is that possible?
no. See, there was a time that my husband and I we didn't used to have any arguments at all. In front, like we are clearly upset at each other, but we pretend that
Everything
we are
is
fine.
fine.
Hello, I'm raising a daughter. My baby was still. I'm raising a daughter. I need that to understand that. So people who love each other fight.
They also have misunderstanding.
And we settle. So we're not beating each other. We're not using abusive words. But you can clearly say that I'm upset at your dad for something. Your dad is upset with me at something. And both of us are going to make up right in front of you. So that you don't grow up thinking that rainbows appear in the sky.
My parents did not used to
They
fight.
never fought.
My parents,
so the day you have a problem with your boyfriend or the person you're about to date, wahala.
Some of us have that thing because we'll say we never saw our parents quarrel. We never saw. So we didn't even know when they fought or when they settled. And then it makes some people now say, "Oh, I never see my parents fight. I never said why should I be
dealing with this? My father has never done this. My mother has never." When you're a human being, you will go through this thing. You should go through these things because it is from those misunderstandings, conflicts, and all of that is how you grow.
Yes, you become better.
You become better. So, so for me, you see that's. But if you go online now, you mentioned this.
There's a lot to read.
Exactly. So there's a lot of there are different opinions here and there, but I think that every one of us, Christian, Muslim, atheist,
whatever category,
whatever it is that religion you identify with, every one of us has that consciousness of what is right and what is wrong. You don't necessarily need to go to school to know that there are some things that I should or should. Look at what we're saying about control. You have the power to control how you react and the things that you do. So that I think that's just it.
Before we wrap up, there's something I wanted us to talk about, and that's for some parents that might feel okay, emotional intelligence now, this and that and this. How do they know when their child is struggling with handling, being able to manage, being able to
it's just you being sensitive, and you can sensitive and attentive, and you cannot be sensitive and attentive if you're not present. That's it. If you're not present, you can't know. You cannot know. Even if somebody gives you a report and says, when you were away, this and this happened. It's nothing like when you were there.
When you experience it.
You experience it, and when you experience it, you can give the directive or the solution or the advice or whatever immediately, hands on, than for somebody to come and report to you hours after you've returned from battling with Lagos traffic, and then you're even too tired to make sound judgments and all of that. So it's
they just wave it as
exactly. So, but with the little time that you have, open all your senses, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your everything is, and it's not from the place of I want to see the bad things that are happening. It's just from the place of I want to get to know my children better. So how can I make my children better children? How can I make them awesome children? So if I have 15 minutes, my ears are open to hear the things they are not saying.
Plus what
my eyes are seeing things they are not showing me. And so, and all of that, you can't know if you're not there. CCTV cannot show you.
No, they can't.
Yeah, because your parents say, no, I have CCTV in there, so I can monitor them from where.
That's not how. Even when they're playing, when they're quiet, there are things that they're saying.
Yes,
so you have to take note of these things.
Take note of all those things. So,
well, let's talk about balancing now. How do we balance, nurturing? You as a parent, you are growing. You have children that are also growing.
Just take it one step at a time. Yeah. Take it one step at a time and be humble. See, my children are the ones parenting me. I'm not the one. I'm not. I feel like they've done so much to change me than I have done to raise them. If you can have that mindset, I'm telling you, things will be fine.
I think, I go with that because I remember, like, usually for me, I'm not. As it comes, that I give it direct, But over time with parenting, I've learned sometimes sit back and look at it very well. Like I will ask my husband, "Why are you angry? Does this thing is it what is it? I mean, does it deserve you to be angry?"
When my daughter was there,
like, which one does it deserve my anger? Again?
When she was really upset yesterday, and she was just shouting and talking and doing all sort of. God knows I did not say. I was just, that's after I shouted my own shout. And she continued. I just was doing all the chores I needed to do, and I ignored her. And she kept on coming to the room. She would lie down on the bed. She
wanted to get your attention.
I said, no, it's not me and you. I will not. When I got frustrated, I called my husband on the phone. Tolu, this is what your daughter did. So she was by the door. She could hear what I was saying. Maybe you will enter, humble yourself and say, okay, mommy, I'm sorry, or whatever. She didn't. And we didn't have that conversation until this morning when her dad got to it, because I think they even took light and then she slept and blah blah blah. So this morning when we got to it, that's why I needed to get her. We have balanced it. So the balance,
helping your children.
Just like I said, just see it as them teaching you.
Teaching you to be better.
And then it is when you are now better that you can pour.
But then again, there's some of you parents that you don't see your child teaching you.
Yes, it's that superiority thing.
There are some parents that feel like, what should I do?
And it's not our fault. See, it's the way we were raised. That's why
there's a lot to be changed.
Yeah, a lot to be changed. Okay, look at it now. Secondary schools, GS2 can punish GS1. Why? Both of you are children. You only manage to enter class before me.
I probably might be older than you are.
You are children. you have no school has the right to give you that power.
But we went through that.
We went through it.
Oh, I went through it.
And that is why we'll be in the presence of our bosses and we'll cower because
we are shivering. We
feel that, because you are
person is above us, so
me.
We can't say. I really cannot say whether I am okay with this idea
or not. Because there's a fear of being punished for it. The same thing with our children. Because we are above them, they can't say anything, they can't speak their minds, they cannot refuse some of the things that we ask them to do. When you tell them to do something, they don't do it. You know the ones that is important.
Yes, of course.
It's a non-negotiable. You must do it. But there's some that
you ask yourself, is there a need for
during the long holiday? I don't know if I told you, during the long holiday, my daughter just said, Mommy, I don't want to do tennis this holiday. Because she does tennis 2 times in the week. And then on weekends, Saturday and Sunday.
Let it break.
She's 7 years old. And this was the last year, so she was 6 then. So this long holiday, she just said she does not want to do tennis. She just wants to play. And that long holiday is our, practice more time. Because we're preparing her for tournaments and all of that. She didn't go. And, the normal us would have said,
No.
We've paid for this thing.
You have
we must
to go.
go.
Do you want it to
I just
waste?
called our coach and said, Toke will not be doing tennis this holiday. Why? But I want her to do. She's not doing tennis this holiday.
You growing up.
Simple.
First off, she even came. Could you?
The same Toke had an injury on her leg on Saturday. Today is Thursday. Oh, well, as at the time of this recording, it's Thursday. But sorry, I had to mention it. Now, Monday she got to school. The injury was still there. She managed it. She didn't say anything. Yesterday, and I picked her. Mommy, I didn't play tennis today. If I don't play tennis, what am I going to do?
That's the same person that told you that you don't want to. Yeah. It's just understanding. At that time,
and then maturity as well. So now she feels like I've not done anything since Monday.
Yes.
What am I doing myself? And I told her, take your chessboard to school and play chess. You shall do it. But she was missing the fact that she couldn't.
There was something she usually do, and she wasn't able to do it.
But if we had forced her back then,
you would not get, probably, it's going to be forced now.
Yes.
It's not going to be
willingly,
intentional. I want to learn this and I enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you. So,
parents, you have a lot of work. So to conclude, let's talk about, some resources that can help parents, things that maybe parents can read on.
Books. So books.
Very key.
Yeah. And I'm not going to give you a title of any book because I actually don't have any title off the top of my head. But you can just go online and look for materials, books on emotional intelligence in children. That's one. Then secondly, now I said something, we don't have excuse this generation.
We really don't.
Do a number of podcasts on my good God.
This morning, when I woke up 4:30, thereabouts. And then I said, I haven't really prepared for today. Let me just go on YouTube to see. And then I saw a lot. And I'm like,
the only thing is that we don't have many in Nigeria.
Yes, we don't have many in Nigeria.
But there are resources everywhere. And then I started
listening to some of them, and I'm like, oh, okay.
If you use Spotify, if you go on that and just type parents,
you will see,
or type child, you will see different conversations. Now, another thing is to avoid an information overload. Sieve what you are hearing. Know the one that works for you, and then run with it. But the information is out there on what to do. I'm a Christian. I will go back to the Bible.
Very key.
Everything we're looking for in this life
is there.
It's right there. You see that book of Proverbs? I love that book too much because if you're looking for passages on parenting, it's there. On marriage, is there. Wisdom, on wealth, on food. Everything is there. So go back to, if you're a Muslim, I'm sure you have many things in your Quran to teach you how to raise children according to the will of God. If you're a Christian, go back to the Bible and look for those. Go online. It's not hard. Type Bible passages about
raising children. You will see more than enough.
And write them down. And then
Bible passages that you probably even read.
And you never
didn't see in that light.
Sorry. Job. I just randomly chose Job 2 weeks ago. Randomly. I had no reason to read because we know the story. Satan went to accusing and
it was struck.
The first chapter, I think verse 4 or 5, says that Job's sons and his daughters, they went to party.
Yes.
And when they came back from the party, Oga Job decided to cleanse them because he was not sure of what they had done. That's an intentional parent.
And they said he was always doing this. He knows that the children will go somewhere.
Yeah.
But because he doesn't know what they have done, he didn't want anybody to bring a way or anything
God bless you.
to the house.
When they come back, he will cleanse them, pray for them, do incense.
That was when I was
everything.
Present.
He was a present and intentional parent. It was when I read it 2 weeks ago that I realized that thing was there. All the times I've been reading the book of Job, I've never seen it.
Job was struck, the devil went to God.
So that's what you're looking for. Your head is looking for.
And the places where the wife said, curse God and die.
Exactly, and then his friends. But this day, I didn't even have a reason for reading Job. I just thought, what do I read today? Oh, I just opened Job. I read it. And my eyes just went there like,
That's something. I mean, that's the level of intentionality. He was ensuring that, no, this one, so you are not going to offend God.
Exactly.
I don't
Not on
know
my
what
watch.
Yes.
Exactly. Not on my watch. So my job as a parent is to protect you spiritually, physically, financially, in every so.
All right, so we've come to the end of today's episode. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to learn. I mean, if you leave us here, we're probably still going to keep saying. I mean, there are things to say, there are things to learn, there are things to teach each other. But I hope that you would listen to this episode and take note of the things that we've said, how to help yourself, even as an adult, as a parent, and how you can teach your children these things. Your children would only do what they see you do.
Yeah.
It is how you react, how you manage your emotions that your children will also react. You can't breed a child to be emotionally intelligent if you aren't as well. If you're always nagging, if you're always shouting, if you're always yelling. I've seen adults throw tantrums.
I said a lot of adults have special needs issues and they don't even know.
And then I saw it and the person was like, when I'm angry, that's how I behave. I'm like,
dude, and you're going to expect your child not to behave that way.
And then your child is doing the same thing and you are beating that child. You are saying all sorts. Please, sir, that child, it's all you do it. Hello, ma. It was from you.
Children do as you do. They don't necessarily do as you say anymore. They do as you do. They're like SpongeBob. They suck it up.
And so that's why you are, like I said, very key that you take note of where they are, whom they're staying with, and what they are doing there. So there's times that you are doing your best as a mother, as a father to raise your child, and then they go somewhere and they are coming back.
I've had fights with my parents,
and
because there's a what's it called? There's a word I'm looking for. There's a not routine.
Structure.
There's a structure that we have, and this is what we are using to raise these children. And then I bring them to your house, and you just press reset, and I have to start all over again. So if you have to tell the people around you, your parents, adults around them, this is what I don't. There's a word. The word is, and it's very simple, but it keeps coming and going. This is what we are using. No, this is the structure, and this is how it is going to be. Chicken. If not, I will withdraw my child from your house.
Yes.
You didn't have.
It's very key. I had into this. I remember my mom came one time, and then I told Oriefe to get something. Midway, he stopped and said, "Mommy, you didn't say please." And my mom was like, please. And I said, no. I said, I told him to always say please.
So I have
need something. Yeah. So it is important that I say it to him as well. So he's not just expecting that because he's a child.
Yes.
He should be saying because I'm the adult.
So the adults around your children should be educated as well.
So I have to tell them, you want to send him, he's not going to answer you. If you don't say, if he goes midway, we remember. Like I remembered my own. So you have to learn. If you give him something, if you give him something, he comes back. She didn't even say thank you. So you see. So it is very key that we take note of these things. I mean, we had a great time. As much as we were having fun, please take note of the very important points that we've said and hold it here, like they say. Don't use it to eat eba. Hold it in your left hand. Don't use it to eat eba. Because, I mean, we don't want to have our children grow to be adults and they are troublesome. They are people, I mean, others cannot deal with. They cannot live with. They cannot relate to, I mean, because small thing you say, they're here, they can't manage their emotions, they're there, a place of work, everything is scattering in the family. We don't want that. And that's why we are having all of these things that we're doing so that we can raise better parents, we can grow to be better, raise our children, and even we ourselves enjoy old age. See, when your children are fine, I'm telling you, you have rest of mind now. Nobody is going to be calling you that your child is quarreling with somebody. You won't be having all of this because you know the child or children that you raise. So, any last words?
You've said it all.
Honestly.
I think you have said it all. Just be a better parent.
Yeah.
So, and don't forget that it's a lot of work. The work of parenting is on you.
It's hard, but it's interesting as well. There are days I love it, and there are days I'm telling myself, wow.
Somebody visited me the other day and said, Sister Ife, is it a sin if I tell God I don't want to have children?
How do you answer that one?
Online.
How do you answer that?
All right, so we'll come your way on the next episode of Mommy and I. Remember, and do not forget to click on the subscribe button below. And our podcast is coming. Yeah, sharing is key and dropping a comment. And of course, be expecting the podcast soon from our great co-hosts. Parenting is an action word. I love that. What does it mean? Doing word. We're watching you. Have a great day and we love you.
Audio Jungle.